kemarin pas gue nge-review Seiko 5 Sport GMT, ada salah satu YouTuber temen gue di Aruba, namanya Design Atelier. Kalian bisa cek YouTube channelnya. Dia WA ke gue, dia bilang, bro, send me the Seiko 5 Sport GMT. Dia katanya mau nge-review. Oke, gue bakalan kirimin Seiko 5 Sport GMT buat dia yang orange dial. Oke, thank you bro.
Oh yeah. Like whatever he said. That nice pass was brought to you by our Indonesian buddy Adrian of Horology Story. It's the premier watch channel in Indonesia with hundreds of horology related videos and reviews to enjoy. On December 16, 2001, NBA fans tuned in for the matchup between the future of the game Vince Carter and the aging legend Michael Jordan. Carter is the high-flying sophomore that's been collecting nicknames like Vinsanity, Human Highlight Reel, and Air Canada to name a few. MJ, well, he's Michael Jordan. This game is just a regular season game, but fans will be fans and they will find something to talk about. In this case, it's Air Jordan versus Air Canada. It was an exciting and seemingly predictable start with Vince torching Michael in the first half. That long-winded intro perfectly sums up my impression of the new Seiko 5 Sport GMT. It's the future of the Seiko Sports line that was built over the legendary SKX architecture. It also carries the nostalgic indifference of Seiko purists that argues the previous icon is much better in many if not every way. It does deliver some exciting improvements that truly caters to the current generation's high-flying, jet-setting preferences. The fit and finish is not that different from the current Seiko 5 line. It's a few microns thicker because of that new GMT caliber, yet it fits my narrow wrist thanks to that short lug distance. Operation is straightforward with that non-screw-down crown making a fool of myself for expecting that threaded tension. Pull it the first time and you can set the GMT hand clockwise while the reverse sets the date. Overshoot any of these turns and you'll have to cycle through the process again. The final step of the crown is for setting the minute and hour hands, you know, the old-fashioned way. Notice how the GMT hand moves in a 24-hour pace. This is very helpful, especially when prank calling Adrian at 2:30 a.m. in Indonesia. This Mechan orange dial and yellow bezel grade is a homage to the original SKX 011. Notable are the sunburst finish and lack of the day indicator for this dial. The hands, bezel, and case are pretty similar compared to this legendary diver. There are more surprises from this hot new collection that deserves a closer look. Under magnification, there's some amazing subtle details to be happy about. I adore this new applied branding that's executed in this light-catching black tone. The bezel is also split between black and chrome, a fantastic visual element. This keeps the original color from the SKX, while on certain angles, it facilitates the GMT function. This bezel, however, lacks the ratcheting action of the original. Some call this a cost-cutting mistake, while I view it as a shot that failed to hit the mark. You know, like an airball free throw, because that's all you catch when you turn it. Air. Another disappointing feature is the misaligned chapter ring. It's half parts rage-inducing and half parts OCD triggering. All should have been easily avoidable. The loom is one of the greatest of all time, but only applied on the dial and not on the bezel. Another disappointment, but one that's more manageable for the sake of those orange bezel numerals. With that being said, the dial is just bursting with color and detail. The applied indexes is a clear upgrade over the printed original. While other models may be mistaken for the other, the orange sunburst dial of this variant is truly unmistakable and wholly flamboyant. But back to the good stuff. The Jubilee bracelet is very articulate with its small links fitting a wider range of wrists. It also helps that it's got some great polished facets. You can see a good amount of taper and hear some solid rattles because these are made of solid links. This adds to the tight tolerances too. There's also some drilled lug holes to ensure that you can swap bands with relative ease. Seiko still insists on using these thin press clasp and fold over enclosures. So microbrands out there, you still have a ripe market for milled clasps and micro-adjust mechanisms. A selling point of the new Seiko 5 line is that it has a display caseback. Not that you'll see some hand finishing here, but one is free to use their imagination. That imagination though will come in handy when it comes to the strap changes. The SKX was known for its amazing ability to fit countless combinations of strap options. Once Seiko revamped the Seiko 5 Sports collection, they made sure that they could capitalize on this customizability of these watches. It's a style first and performance second approach that modern users love but often criticized by the veterans. I just wish I had more 22mm straps lying around. While the dimensions are near identical, the features vary enough to create its own supporters. The SKX clearly favors functionality while the SSK models value flair and form. It really helps to do your research to understand which team you fall into. This new GMT collection propelled the Seiko 5 line from appropriate to desirable. It now kinda fills the void left by the SKX, like how Carter kinda filled the void that Jordan left. Which brings us to the second half of the game where Jordan completely shuts down Carter with his experienced defensive ability. The SKX became a legend because of its performance and versatility that transcended people of all walks of life. Even if it's now retired from Seiko's lineup, it's still easily attainable elsewhere. These new GMTs excited older enthusiasts on top of pleasing its newer crowd. But like Michael, the SKX is telling the Seiko 5s, I'm still the GOAT. What a marvelous collection from Seiko. With this initial release, they were able to capture the affordable GMT market. What do you think? Comment down below and let me know what's your favorite version of this Seiko 5 Sports GMT. I wish it had like that ratcheting bezel, because it's the smooth bezel, bi-directional bezel. But I fidget with the bezel so much, and it would have been nice if it was ratcheting. And of course, that clasp, that's something that is left to be desired. Especially with some micro brands stepping up their game when it comes to the clasp, But I'm sure that despite those flaws, it's not perfect. It's going to be a staple in many people's collections, especially those who are going for the micro brand affordable range of pricing. Did you know that actually the last time that I showed somebody else in the beginning of my video, they thought the viewers thought they were clicking on the wrong video. So hopefully they didn't like click out right away when they saw Adrian's face.